Hey there, Danielle Burnock from DanielleBurnock.com. Love yourself from Survive to Thrive. That lady on the internet who loves you, coming to you live from my car, waiting to pick up my granddaughter from school, like I love to do because relationships are important. And what I want to talk to you today about is Will Smith's interview that I heard on a podcast. I listened to him on a podcast called Jesus Calling. He's got a new book out called Will, which I have not read, but I really loved listening to his story on this podcast. And one of the things that he said really validated how I feel and what I do, which may be a big deal to you or not, but because I don't really put a whole lot of stock in celebrities, but some people do. But there are many celebrities that I just respect them. And there's a lot about Will Smith that I have respected. So I was very interested in listening to what he had to say in his memoir and that. And I learned a little bit about him that I didn't know. And the thing that I wanted to share that he brought up was that there is no amount of success, external success, that will fix your internal difficulties. External success doesn't fix your internal difficulties. It doesn't fix your childhood trauma. And he went on to say about how he had made all this money and he had a family and it was all wonderful, but he still wasn't happy. He discovered that he still had an internal difficulty, as he called it, or he had childhood trauma. He felt like he was a coward because he didn't respond and defend his mother when his dad had punched her in the face. That followed him his whole life. And I haven't read the book, so there may be a whole lot more to that story. This was just a little excerpt in this podcast. And he talked about how he took 2 years off because he had to deal with this. He had to say, what is wrong with me? And he went through and deconstructed his childhood. Went through the whole thing to write his book, went through all the different things, and he encourages people to do that. He thinks everyone should write their story, and I agree. Even if you never want to publish it, to go through your entire life, to go through every situation and deconstruct it. And he said something which I thought was profound, and I did also, is if you could do it with someone, you could do it with a counselor, which I did, but I also did it with some other people in my life who were there and talked with them about the situations. And then you get their view and your view, and you get a better view, and you learn to know who you are, where you've come from, and you can learn to love yourself. No matter what your warts and your flaws are, you can heal, you can forgive yourself, and you can move forward. And Will Smith shared that in this Jesus Calling podcast. I encourage you, go find it and listen to it. I think you'll really enjoy it. The other half of it is Will Smith, and the other half is Amy Grant, which that was awesome also. I love Amy Grant. But I wanted to share with you about how it doesn't matter how successful you are, how many cigarettes you smoke, how much you drink, how much drugs you do, how much adventures you go on, or whatever. If you're trying to smash down your trauma with these external things, it won't work. It won't work. It's an internal thing, and it needs to be dealt with internally. And if you want help with that, I am a coach, and I can help. Maybe you need a counselor. I don't know what your difficulties are. I am not a licensed therapist. You might need that. You know. But I encourage you. I have a course, Heal Your Childhood Self, which will help you deconstruct your life. To do that, I can coach you through that at the same time. But don't, as Will said, don't cake on top of everything in your life and expect your difficulties to go away. They won't. They will just come bouncing back up like a beach ball shooting out of the water, and they'll sucker punch you when you least expect it. And every time that happens, it will get worse. That's what happened to me till I got to a point with one of them. It's like, I'm not going forward till this gets dealt with. And I started dealing with it. And that's how you heal, is you deal with it. You have to deal with it. External things will not fix internal problems. I wanted to share that with you. Go look up that podcast with Will Smith on Jesus Calling. And until next time, I love you.